Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
You're listening to Bloomberg Businessweek with Carol Massar and Tim Stenovec on Bloomberg Radio.
Great to have back with us Vance Howard. He is CEO and portfolio manager of Howard Capital Management. The firm has approximately $6 billion in assets under management. And once again, we find him in our Bloomberg Interactive Broker Studio. Welcome.
Well,
Happy New Year.
It's my favorite place to come. You two are my two favorites. I love being here.
Well, we like having you here as well. In a year where Venezuela, Freudian slip.
That's kind of where we want to start.
Well, the point is, who'd have thunk this wasn't necessarily on our list of things to watch in 2026, but yet here we are. And I think today people are saying this is going to take some time to work its way out. So maybe not so market moving and maybe not so impactful on the energy sector yet. But I'm just curious, does this factor at all in?
I think it's a good thing, to be quite candid.
Okay.
I think you're going to see energy prices drop. I think you're going to see energy services company do better. If we can drop energy prices, it's going to affect inflation. So that'll bring inflation down a little bit. West Texas Intermediate crude's at $57 a barrel.
I know. I was going to ask you,
expensive.
do you want the price to go down anymore?
Well, since I'm not in the oil and gas industry, yes.
A lot of your clients probably are.
Well, some are. But, if you're trading the energy, the service companies, you can do quite well this year, I think.
So the reason I asked this about it's all supply and demand. That's what it comes down to. That's economics 101. But if we think about the glut of oil that exists right now, if we even have more coming online, then do we get to a point where oil could get so low that there would be no incentive for companies to do this exploration?
But I don't think we'll ever get to that point. But I think what he wanted to do is secure the pipeline that's coming into us. And I also think he wanted to block China. I think most of this has to do with blocking China. What was China in the day before he took over? Before he came in and got the dictator.
Yeah.
So I think some of this has more to do with China just as much as it does oil and gas.
Once again, we're focused on the White House and things coming out from President Trump. Reuters is reporting that President Trump and advisors are discussing the purchase of Greenland. Again, this is coming from Reuters. Reuters reporter posting this on X, citing a senior U.S. official. Again,
is it for sale, Carol?
Ask Greenland and they would say no. But I'm just curious about how you are factoring in what might come from Washington, what matters, what doesn't. Because there are things that are said that ultimately, like look at tariffs, right? We started out one course and it certainly changed very quickly in terms of how impactful it will be. But I'm just curious, how do you factor that in?
Well, it is, when you looked at Trump's first administration, the first 4 months where they were disturbing because the market was freaking everywhere. Nobody knew how to take this guy.
Yeah.
But then you kind of calm down. You realize he says a lot of stuff. So you realize just let it go and see what actually happens, because he always starts way up here and then he comes way down.
Right.
Like with tariffs, he started at 5,000%. Now he's down to 12 or something, and he's starting to work with people. So I think people just get numb to him.
Do you take stuff like this though serious?
Absolutely, you do. With Greenland, to some degree, because of rare earth.
As you guys have been talking about this, we're getting additional information, and you're making a mark. Like with your hands, okay, it's up here or it's down here, different extremes. Tell me on where this extreme would be. U.S. military used to take Greenland, quote, always an option, according to Reuters. Where is that on your spectrum?
It's really not. I think that's I think it's talk.
Okay.
I think it's talk. But you know what? If he did, I think what 60,000 people live there?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking a tiny town. The country's just a modest.
But it's part of a sovereign nation.
It is, yes. And but there's
and part of NATO too.
Yes. So it would cause an issue.
I mean, especially
you got to say the least.
Well,
exactly.
in an environment where we look at President Putin of Russia and land grabs and say that that's not okay.
It's not okay. And but I'm not saying that he hasn't grabbed anything yet.
Yeah.
So let's just say talk is talk. And cheap. Talk's cheap.
Why does he do that, do you think?
I think that's just the way he's always been as a negotiator. He starts at a bizarre price. Like if he wants to buy something, he starts at a bizarrely low price and he works them down to a point that it's fair to him, and then he takes the deal. But that's his modus operandi. He's a deal maker.
So as investors, are you saying wait until the dust settles?
Yeah. And, it's like what happened with the tariffs. I mean, the market dropped like crazy, and then they came to find out a week later. He goes, I can back off a lot, and next thing it shot back up.
So I always want to ask you about the BuyLine, the HCM-BuyLine. This is the proprietary model that you have that uses signals to tell you whether to buy, sell. Does it also say hold?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the key points is to keep you invested.
Where is it right now?
We're positive now. We didn't have it. We had a good year last year. It was a little bit whipsawy when that April happened, and you see those big drops. It was a little bit whipsawed for us because it is a trend indicator.
Yeah.
And I want to stay with the trend as long as I can until the trend changes. Then I want to move my perspective.
Did the trend lag as an indicator?
Absolutely, it lags. Yeah, you're never going to call it.
So you get hurt a little bit.
A little bit. You're going to get whipsawed. The buy line's 68.32. 32% of the time it's not going to work, and you're going to be, sort of neutral or even below it, maybe lose a little bit. But 68% of the time it's going to work.
So where is it right now?
We're positive, very positive. Yeah, we're 100% invested, have been for months on end. I'm bullish into 2026. Now, we were talking about this, and I think I sent you guys some dialogues on. If January's up, there's a 73% chance that 2026 will be positive. If the first 5 days are up and January's up, it's an 83% probability 2026 will be positive.
We got 2 more days.
That's exactly right. So let's cross our fingers.
Does an election year or a midterm year matter?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Well, let's look at this. The three of us are incredibly positive people, so we won't even talk about it if it's a down. So
we're also realistic, though.
Yeah.
But the truth is, the majority of the time, the market is up.
It is, the vast majority of the time.
Yeah.
And even if you have a bad year, like let's say January's down and we have a sloppy year, that doesn't mean it's going to end up terrible.
Yeah.
It just means it's going to be a little bit more hard to navigate.
Before we wrap, 15 seconds here, is there any indication in terms of like the Mag 7, the big tech, the AI trade, any indications?
I love it all, but I think this year, Carol, I think we're going to see this is going to be a technical trading market. In other words, you're going to see a lot of things that are moving that weren't moving. I've talked about small caps for 2 years and been embarrassed because they haven't moved until recently, but they're starting to move. But you're also seeing other things do well, like basic materials. You're starting to see financials start to come alive.
All right.
So
you'll have to come back because we'll talk and do some follow-up. Vance Howard,